Well, how's it going, y'all? I thought originally today was chest and triceps, but it's Monday. And even though I knew it was Monday, I was like thinking, going back and forth, and I had to look at my old YouTube videos to look at my split. It's actually back in biceps today, so it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a great, grand old day. But today, should we go to the Y? I feel like I'm being disloyal, but the Y has the better back machines. And it's closer. I'm gonna go to the Y today. Little bit of a change in my schedule. Not really, but just, I'm all over the place right now. Thought it was chest. Wasn't. I thought I was gonna go all the way out in 25 minutes, 23-ish minutes to my other gym. I'm gonna go to my gym 5 minutes away, the Y. So, we're gonna have a great time today. And today's going to consist of some lat pull downs, obviously, the regulars. Today's going to consist of bicep curls, rowing. It's all going to be practically the same as usual. So nothing's really going to change today. And that's one thing that you guys should take in consideration whenever you guys are lifting is, let me get a quick sip of my intro, or my pre-workout, sorry. It's not really pre-workout, but it's carbs, and you need carbs for your workouts. But dang, I'm stuffed up. What was I? I just had a track. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, my ADHD is going crazy right now. But your workout should typically be the same majority of every workout, right? Like you shouldn't go from doing, I don't know, like not regular bicep curls. Let's say one back day. Back day A is chest supported rows with one lat pull down, and then a shrug maybe, and then like a dumbbell row. And then the next, back day B, it's gonna be barbell rows and then pull-ups. Like, yes, you are doing the same variations, except the chest supported row and barbell row isn't exactly the same because stability is way different on those two, and fatigue, and same with pull-ups and pull-downs or whatever. But whatever, you're doing different variations, right? Like a preacher curl is way different from a normal bicep dumbbell curl. You need to be doing the same variation for around 4-ish weeks. And then you can kind of go to different things. Sometimes I'll switch my routine. Like I'll go from, I'll do some more chest supported rows, and then I'll do more shrugs one week. But that's not really to say that I'm not going to be doing the same really exercises, right? Like I might switch, because I go from different gym to gym. So I might be able to train on one gym my whole, lifting time or whatever, right? Like I can't do one specific pull down at this gym. And then, because at this gym, the Y, they have a normal cable pull down, but I like this pull down, the machine pull down with the D handles that rotate, because it feels a lot better for me. So if I was able to do that one every time, I would love to do that. But you get what you get. Do like around the same weight as you did last time. Maybe increase an extra rep or increase the weight a little bit. Anything helps, right? Even if it's just adding 2.5 pounds, getting an extra partial rep maybe that you didn't last time, that is still, in my opinion, progression. And progression is what you need in the gym to progress, right? That's obvious. So, if you're progressive overloading, meaning you're gaining strength, you're gaining a rep, your form is getting better, you are progressing in one way or another. Now, you may be asking, well, how would I know if my form's progressing? Well, for one, take videos. Because, you can have somebody look at you from the outside perspective, but they might not know every detail, right? They might not be paying attention entirely, or whatever not. And then you can pay attention a little bit to yourself, but you might be like on like a chest supported row, or not chest supported row, on like a incline bench. Just for an example, you might be thinking, oh, I increased my weight by 10 pounds on this incline bench in like a week. How am I going up so rapidly? Well, maybe that the first week you did it with more tucked in elbows, and And the next week, you're more flared out, which flared out's a lot easier, but you're more, you're getting more front delt, more shoulder risk, right, compared to the tucked in. And when you're tucked in, you're getting more upper pec. So, how I see it is, record yourself. Feeling the exercise will help a lot too. Like, let's say one day you do an exercise 185 on an incline bench. We'll just use that again. And you're like, it doesn't feel that good. And you skip it, right? You do one set, you go on to the next, whatever. Next week, you try it again. 185, but it feels a little better this week. Could just be, for one, that exercise feels good, or two, your form got a little bit better. Because the better your form gets also, the more you'll feel your muscles work. I feel like that's pretty, common sense. The better you are at trying to activate those muscles, the more effective that workout's going to be. So, that's not to say that an exercise is horrible. It just might not be the right form or the right thing that day. So don't overlook an exercise because one week it didn't feel good at all. It might feel good the next week, so try it again next week. Try it again maybe the next week after that. And if it doesn't feel good for you, if you get injured from it constantly, or if it just doesn't feel like it's doing anything, or you feel like this exercise is you're not gonna be able to progressive overload on it, I probably wouldn't do it then, right? But also, if you enjoy a workout, like if it gives you a sick pump, put that rather at the end of your workout. If you're just doing a workout because it gives you a good pump, do it at the end of your workout. I wish that was common sense, but a pump isn't going to make you grow directly. It's fun to see and it's fun to have, but a pump will not grow you directly. Just so you guys know out there. But we're here now, so we're going to get into it. I'm back in bicep. Alright, so our first movement today is going to be a lat focus. We're going to be mainly focusing on our upper and middle lats, but you're also going to be hitting lower lats when you do this. Now, the goal for this one is to drive your elbows to the floor, or specifically your hips. But since I like doing this on the D handle because I can rotate my hands at the top and then kind of rotate them at the bottom just to get a better squeeze on my lower lats at the end. But just go to failure and do partials at the end. Now, this exercise I went a little too heavy on, but that's okay. Just my range of motion was just a little less than what I wanted to, but that's okay. If you have a set like that, don't complain too much about it. Just drop the weight a little bit and just execute with just one more set. But drive your elbows back and have your elbows flare out to hit the upper and middle part of your back. But don't shrug up, just retract your shoulder blades. Now we're going to be hitting the lower and upper lat and also a little bit of the mid lat, but you're going to feel a lot of the upper lat when you're all the way at the top and then a lot of the lower lat when you're all the way down squeezing, but you're going to feel your lats all the way through. Just make sure you drive back with your elbows, keep your arms relatively straight until the last kind of part, and then you'll kind of have in a bend position. And at the end, when you want to do partials to make it a little easier, kind of just turn it into a row movement where your elbows are just kind of bent entirely. You'll see it right here. And now we're going to focus on our brachialis and our biceps. So we're just going to be doing cross-body rope curls. Just a really good exercise to get full tension all the way up and all the way down. Make sure you get a deep stretch on the bottom and make sure you squeeze at the top. And to make it a little bit easier stuff, do dead stop reps, which is mainly just stopping the weight and then mainly getting that squeeze at the top. Right now we're just going to be focusing mainly on the biceps with the straight bar. You could do this with like a barbell or like dumbbells if you wanted to, but I just wanted to do it on cable on the straight bar today. But mainly just really focus on getting a deep stretch at the bottom and then getting a good squeeze at the top, using a moderately, kind of middle kind of range weight. So, and then right after this, I'll be focusing on the forearms. So I'll just be doing forearm wrist curls, which you'll see in a second, but I just like to do that because it's a pretty good superset. So, today, we're not going to do the cardio talk. Every time I do cardio, I'm just going to talk here. It's practically the same thing. I'll have to check the audio just in case you guys really can't hear me, because I don't think I'm really talking too loud, because I don't want everyone in the world to hear me. But so yesterday when I said cardio, unless you're training for some type of like marathon or whatever, not, this isn't the key, right? Like I said, you're not killing yourself. Save it for the weights, right? The weights is the one thing that's going to help you grow. This will help you grow, but in other circumstances, right? I'm not going to go into the whole tangent of the endurance and everything, but practically, cardio helps you with your conditioning, endurance, stamina, which is kind of the same thing. So these things will help you with those lifts also, because instead of getting fatigued more often, because you're in better shape now, you'll be able to perform the exercises at a better, longer rate. But, it coincides with itself when you talk about going for high volume training versus low volume, right? Because there's pros and cons to both of those things, right? A lot of times, I grew when I did high volume training, but I came in with more injuries, more fatigue, whatnot. But, yesterday what I did was low volume leg day, and today was not a low volume back and bicep day, but it was a lower volume. Instead of, how many sets did I do? One set of lat pull downs, 2 sets of that chest-supported row, 1 set of that, that pullover. I probably did one more set of something else, but I think it was that, so I did 4 sets total in back. I swear I did 5, but I did 4. I'll check back and see, but it was 4 to 6 sets max, 6x max of back, right? Usually I would do 8, 7, right? But I was thinking, well, my lower back is still in pain. I need to repair it as much as I can, right? So let's do just a little less training, not intensity, but time and volume-wise, right? And that's not to say this wasn't more effective, right? It might be more effective, or I might get the same results as if I was training 8 sets, 9 sets, 10 sets. And above 10 sets on one muscle group, I think you're kind of pushing it. You're pushing the boundaries of going too far, right? And I think with a lot of training, going too far is a misconception. A lot of people, they don't train hard enough. And like I said, you hear the word overtraining and plateauing. Well, plateauing is a lot of the fact that you're just not pushing yourself hard enough. I mean, some aspects, like if you're trying to increase your bench press, yes. Sometimes you do need a deload week. That's 100% true. But if we're just talking about primarily hypertrophy, or bodybuilding training, for another word, when it comes to it, fewer sets but the same intensity, meaning till failure, 1 to 2 sets till failure is fine. If you wanted to, you could train 1 to 3 sets on a muscle group absolutely to failure and be done with that muscle group, or be done with that day. Who knows? Whatever you want to do. So do not be afraid of quote-unquote overtraining, because a lot of times, unless you're doing the Rich Piana 8-hour arm day, you're more likely not gonna overtrain, right? You might run into, like I said, more fatigue, which will make you go lower in weight, which I don't think those sets will be as efficient, but you're not training, like I said, like a Rich Piana 8-hour arm day. When it gets to the point of when your arms go numb, that's where you're kind of destroying your muscle rather than destroying it, meaning when you're obviously working out, you're tearing muscle fibers, little tears. But when it becomes macro instead of micro, that's where it gets a little difficult to actually gain muscle. And the whole thing, it's about consistency. It's about just being in here day in and day out doing it. right? You're not going to gain 30 pounds of muscle in 3 days, no matter what, right? It's a lot easier to gain fat and lose fat than it is to gain muscle, right? Or lose muscle. So the whole point is to gain muscle. It's a day in and day out. And obviously, your genetics play a factor in it. That would be stupid if I told you that your genetics didn't play a factor in it. I'd be lying to you, right? I would be a fool to tell you that your genetics didn't play anything. But that's not to say that genetics is everything, right? Your genetics determine a lot of things, like how your proportions look, how much muscle mass you can totally gain, a bunch of things, right? But what your genetics can't train and can't do is determine how hard you can train. Meaning, if you say, my genetics suck, but then you just add on a shitty work ethic, you're not going to get anywhere you want to be. So, push yourself in every aspect of this. Do your cardio. Push yourself some weights. Diet correctly. Sleep correctly. And the little things. Don't drink. Be healthy towards your body. I understand those things are fun. They're great. But if you truly want to gain results, you need to not do the opposite of what you're actually trying to do, which is get more muscle, get leaner, get in better shape. Now, if you're still confused on a lot of things, right? Like you just say, I don't really know, I don't really understand the diet, right? And I've talked about this before with sodium, your potassium, everything, all the smaller things, right? Not just protein, carbs, and fats. Go on Google, do 10 minutes of research on basic understanding of micro and macronutrients, and you will get a complete understanding, not a complete, but a complete basic understanding of what actually that stuff is. Because it's just like the weight room when you first walk in. It's kind of intimidating. There's so much to do, to look at. You have all these cardio equipment, you have all these bench presses, all these weights. But in reality, it's all simple. You find that one thing that effectively makes you grow, effectively makes you do well, you're gonna do very well. Same with that thing. Same with everything else, honestly. Like, in chess, I suck at chess, still. I've only been playing it for like 4 days now consistently. I maybe 5 for a week or something, but I still suck. I've been winning a few games every now and then. Been losing a lot though. But I'm learning how to play my pieces correctly, right? I'm learning how to use my queen more effectively. So each and every day when I learn my different moves, I can learn other things, right? When I master the queen in chess, I can start mastering the bishop. These things will add up and you'll start winning. So when you're currently losing, do not shy back from keeping trying and going. Like I said, me doing this cardio, it's not fun. It's not super hard. Like I said, I'm not trying to kill myself on the cardio, but it will add up to me losing body fat percentage, me getting leaner, me having more endurance for my lifts. It's all gonna add up to something. But other circumstances, less philosophical. The lift today was, I'd say, pretty good. For me doing more low volume training, meaning just like I said, less sets overall, I had a good time today. What I did do differently was, I've been listening to a lot more TNF, not listening, but just seeing more of his TikTok content, and just seeing what he does more. And his thing was, in a comment section, this guy was talking about some rep range stuff, and TNF was like, let me guess you're afraid to go 7+ reps with good form. And I've been thinking about that. I don't really go more than 7 reps. Like 7 full good reps on a lot of anything. So on my bicep stuff today, not really hammer curls, but the straight bar curls, I was thinking about that. I was like, why don't I just try that? It felt good. you know? It's not to say I'm not going to always do that, but a couple sets in the smaller muscle groups, like if I'm doing pec flies or a leg extension. Leg extension, it's kind of hard because I need more weight on every machine there is, but like a pec deck, I don't need more weight. I'll try doing 9-10 reps on a set and see how that goes. And then if I like that, I'll keep doing that. Because like I said, experiment. I've been in the gym for about 4 years now, and I'm still learning. That's the great part about this all. I'm still learning a bunch. Your first year or two, like I said, in lifting, you should always just kind of experiment with things. Meaning, what do you like? What works? What gives you a good pump? Stuff like that. And after that, kind of go along with the thing. Like I said, I'm still learning, but I know my core movements are what actually helps me grow. A incline bench for my upper pecs is what I want to use, right? Like an incline bench, incline dumbbell bench. I would much rather use that to grow my upper pecs than like an incline fly. Not an incline fly, a low to high fly. It's not to say I'm not going to do those movements, but I know from experimenting what works for me. And like I said, that's what matters about all of this. Just experiment, have fun with it, find things you like to do, because if you don't enjoy the exercise part of it, you don't enjoy what you're doing in it, you're probably not going to be consistent. So, like I said, if it's growing you, but you're genuinely just hating what you're doing, you might want to change it up or you might quit. It's just basic human psychology. So, other than that, I think that's all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Eli McIntosh, and I'm out of here. I got about 4 more minutes left and I'm done with this cardio. Bye-bye.